Yeah! Jim has an announcement today that he wants to bring out to the public for all of us to spread out there. We have some people in the background that are trying to upset the balance of the political scene today, and there's some underhanded things being done. There's money coming in from places that probably shouldn't be coming from. And we'll let Jim talk about that now. Congressman Hines.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody. I could not be more gratified. Here we stand, 2 weeks to go till the election, and you have turned out with a lot of energy to talk about something that goes beyond the values and the programs and the progress that we stand for. The values, the progress, and the programs, that's fair political debate. We should have an argument about those things. We should have discussion. And democracy requires that we make our case to the people of the United States, to the people of Connecticut, to the people of the 4th District, and let those people choose. And that's great. It gets rough and tumble, but that's great. What isn't acceptable is when something corrupts our democracy. When our votes get bought, and get bought by money, we have no idea where it comes from. Connecticut had not seen much of this until very recently, when the American Action Network, which, like all of these groups with names like that, Americans for Prosperity, Families for Networks, Families for Prosperity, these are groups that are nonprofits that take money from people who don't need to disclose their $1 million, $5 million, $10 million contributions into these pools, which then buy media, by television, by radio, by mailers around the United States to mislead voters into bringing down the people that they do not like. My fellow Congressman Chris Murphy, who has served this state for so long, is now weathering $800,000 of money to buy TV to put up an ad that, were this not so serious, would be laughable. It's an ad that says that Chris Murphy voted to provide health care to illegal aliens, that Chris Murphy voted to provide, it gets better, Viagra to sex offenders. It's out and out lies. Now, the nice thing about the old system was that if somebody told an out-and-out lie, you could hold them accountable. But we've got millions of dollars flowing into this country to tell lies, and we don't know who is telling them. Cablevision, to their great credit, when we pointed out how rabidly inaccurate these statements were, they, at least temporarily, canceled a $60,000 buy that was aimed at all of us, and at me in particular. That's a step in the right direction. But the real problem here, of course, is that our elections around this country are being bought by people, and we don't know who they are. So number one, we as a country, as citizens, must rely on the strength that we have, which is numbers, to say that we will not tolerate the purchase of our election by people who are in the shadows, who we don't know who they are or what their agendas are. We need to drive this point home. And number two, I'm calling on Dan DiBasella, my opponent, to say to the American Action Network, either tell us who is pouring millions of dollars into your coffers to run these outrageous ads, or don't come into this district. Chris Shays, who represented this district for 21 years, would regularly tell the RNCC and others not to come into this district. Chris Shays, we had our disagreements, but his name was on the Shays-Meehan campaign finance reform bill. This district is used to a very high standard. Dan DiBasella is now trying to wrap himself in the coat of Chris Shays. So if he means that, he will today say that he will not allow American Action Network or any other shady group that does not disclose its donors to advertise on his behalf in this district. That's the least we can expect. Dan DiBasella has run a deceptive campaign. He has told this district that he will give back $400 billion in unspent stimulus. You can check this out, recovery.gov. There's less than $100 billion of unspent stimulus, and half of that is tax cuts. He has told this district that I voted for the bank bailout, the TARP program. I wasn't in Congress when the TARP program was voted on. And Chris Shays, whose coat he is trying to wear, voted for the TARP program. He has said that you can cut the federal budget from 27% down to 20% of GDP, a catastrophic cost, without damaging people, without gutting Social Security, without gutting Medicare. You know what? Politics is a rough sport, and people stretch the truth. But people can look up each one of those facts and see that he's not being honest with you, and that's fine. Do it. We at least know who is being dishonest. With the American Action Network, we have no idea where these millions of dollars are coming from to buy our election. And we're here today to say that our votes, our representatives in Congress, our senators are not for sale. Yeah!